Good morning, everybody. Thanks so much for being here today. It looks like we have just a couple of participants today, so I'm probably going to run through this pretty quickly. Before I do that, let me just introduce myself. My name is Sheila Volk, and I am a travel advisor just like you. In fact, TIS was born out of my own frustration as a new travel advisor who did not have access to the resources that I needed to support the business of my business. And then as an agency owner who began to grow and scale my agency. So before I get started, I just wanted to throw out a couple of things real quick and ask you guys. So, what is your experience level? I'm going to go ahead and publish this poll for you. Okay, fantastic. So it looks like we have both established travel professionals anywhere between, or I should say, under that $500,000 mark. This will help me to gauge how I'm going to proceed. So one more, let's see, a couple more questions. How familiar are you with travel industry solutions? Did you just learn about us? Do you know a little bit about us? Have you worked with other travel agent colleagues in the past? Okay, fantastic. And let's see, one more thing that I want to ask. If you could acquire one thing today for your agency, what would it be? Strategies for attracting clients, processes, protections, etc. And I do want to apologize for turning off my camera. You guys probably heard my dog barking in the background. And I'm usually like really good at closing my office door when I'm upstairs. And I thought, I know I forgot something before I started this today. So if there's anything that you want to acquire today, what is the one thing, if you could tell me? I put that up on the screen. Is it the strategies? Is it a framework for starting a new agency? Um, Processes, efficiencies? Okay, I see one response there. I'll give it a couple of more seconds, and then I'll dive deep into our product and how it can work for you. All right, legal protections and limit liabilities. I know I try to get you guys to focus in on one particular thing. I actually do this in some of the workshops that I facilitate at various groups. It kind of helps me to understand where you guys are in the process. Okay, and Mallory says also guidance for growing your agency with qualified staff and advisors. Yeah, that could be a challenge for a lot of us as we expand our agency. And Mallory, I wanted to mention to you, and actually everybody on the call, you could put your comments in the chat, but tomorrow we are going to have Cindy Williams on with Careers on Vacation. She's going to be in our Facebook group. We're going to do a live with her. We've recently partnered with her this year, and it's pretty amazing the things that she is doing for agents like you who are really looking to grow and expand their agency. It's a 12-month long program, and a lot of those folks now have 50 and 80-person agencies. So she has a great framework, and what we offer really dovetails nicely with some of her courses. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Let's see. All right. Hopefully everybody can see this pretty good. Okay, so one of the things that I'd like to talk about first is 3 ways that TIS helps to protect your business. The first thing is key client agreements. I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into the website policies and the privacy policies. a little bit later on in the presentation, because this is one area where I really see travel advisors actually breaking the law, and they are exposing themselves to pretty hefty fines depending on the state. And also through our written communication, um, people who sign up for our gold or higher package are always surprised at the about how in depth our email communication scripts are, and how they offer protective covenants for you with specific legal language and paragraphs when you're sending out email reminders for payment requests, etc., to your clients. So these are the essential agreements that I really feel that every travel agent needs. I'll go in depth. I'm going to show you what they look like inside of our product, and why you need each one of them. But it's a travel services agreement, terms and conditions, planning fee agreement, travel insurance waiver, and the website policies. I don't care who you are, you should have these agreements in your arsenal, in your agency. I was scrolling through Facebook this morning when I woke up, and I noticed in a group somebody was asking for an example of a particular contract that they needed. And I always cringe when I hear that, because um, just because you copied and pasted your biz besties language doesn't mean that you are legally protected or it's enforceable. So I always like to encourage everybody, whether you use TIS or not, to get legally sound agreements for your agency and start with these. So, what are the key agreements going to do? They're going to help you to limit your liabilities. You really want to have a clause in there that limits it to your commission earned. You also want to safeguard your income. We have a couple of thousand subscribers now to our product. And one of the things that we're always asked by newer agents is, should I include change or cancellation fees? Should I charge planning fees? And my answer to them is always yes. Here's the thing, you always have the ability to waive some of your fees. But if you want to really protect your income and safeguard your future, you are going to at least charge a minimum amount. Here's the bottom line, we all have to put food on our table. We all work and put a lot of effort into our clients' trips. So please think about how all of this work that you're putting in could affect your future if the client doesn't move forward or wants to make additional changes. You also want to minimize your risk. So, a good agreement or agreements should have that, and also comply with laws. So, I'm not sure how many of you on the call are hosted or non hosted, but you'll see that all of our agreements actually are written for both types of agents. And we give you some guidance in our user guides as to what paragraphs should be removed if they are not applicable to you. But do know that the agreements have the seller of travel clauses in there for you independently credentialed agents who have seller of travel in those states that require those disclosures. The other part is we remain up to date with changing laws. You want your agreements reviewed at minimum once a year. There are things that change. You want to have things tightened up. You need to have them reviewed. In TIS, we review them at least quarterly or as laws change. You also want to make sure that you do have the language you need to protect yourself against loss due to unforeseen events. And COVID is definitely an example, but there are a lot of small examples out there that don't relate to a pandemic. So you have responsibilities to disclose information and keep your customers informed of their responsibilities so that nobody has losses or encounters issues with their booking. And you know what, Angela? I'm so glad that you said that you learned the hard way about not charging a fee. And I even have it sometimes now with friends who come to me and who want me to do work. I don't really take on new clients anymore because most of my effort is focused on TIS. But I'm always shocked even today by friends who come to me and want advice or they want me to put together a trip without charging fees, and I absolutely refuse to do it today. I mean, my time is valuable, and I invest a lot in my education and my travels to deliver you a great experience. So I'm really glad to see that you've done that. And how do I reply to a friend request? I just state I have a non-refundable planning fee. Here it is. I'll send you an invoice when you're ready to move forward. Go ahead and pay that, and we'll get started with the next step. I don't treat them any differently than I treat my clients who are not friends of mine. I've learned to separate that friendship from my business. And if they don't understand, then they're really not my friend, as far as I'm concerned. Direct to the point. I did have a mom of a former classmate of my daughter's reach out to me recently, and uh, she wanted me to give her some hotel recommendations. And I let her know that I didn't really book that region, so I had um, no real insight into it. And she kept pressing me. And I finally let her know that I'd be happy to set up a 15-minute discovery call with her and talk to her about my planning fees if she really needed help, or I would refer her to another agent who also charges planning fees. And she went away. So direct to the point. Okay, so let's talk about travel services agreement. This is something that we created last year. When we first launched the TIS product, we had just the long terms and conditions. And what we found through customer feedback was that travel agents were really fearful of sending super long agreements to their customers, and it felt a little bit scary to their clients. So, one of the great things about having me as the founder of this company and also an active travel advisor is I bridge the gap between what is practical and what our clients need, and then talk to our legal team about how we can solve different problems for the travel advisor. And so we came up with a travel services agreement after pulling together our team to discuss how we could come up with a single page agreement that would then reference out to the full terms and conditions. So this makes it easier for travel advisors. It makes it feel less scary. And also, when you're sending out invoices, anytime you're collecting a payment, it doesn't feel overwhelming for the client because they have a short paragraph where they're signing, but they're entering in their credit card details for that credit card collection. So you can use this method of the TSA and think of it like going to a website and you're scrolling down to purchase something and you tick that box, yes, I agree to the terms. You probably didn't read the terms, but you've agreed to it. Same concept. So you can use this with linking out to your terms and conditions, or you can use the terms and conditions as a standalone document. It's entirely up to you, but we give you that option so that it feels less overwhelming for your customer. Terms and conditions. Everything in our suite of products is provided as a Word file. One of the things that we also started doing this year is converting our documents into plain English. So the first set of documents that we did that with is our essential agreements. So they're written so that both parties can understand what's included in the agreement. I mean, we need to understand what it is we're sending to our customers, and they need to understand what it is they are receiving from us. So they are legally enforceable. They do not compromise any legal integrity, but they are simplified and straightforward. The other thing about our agreements is we do have a custom warranty through Chubb. So when we launched the product, we went through an extensive underwriting process to back our products. So what that means is we put our money where our mouth is. We enforce or we warrant our agreements for legal enforceability, which gives you a lot of peace of mind. And it's an added benefit for our members. Planning fees, if you're new to charging fees and you don't know what to do, we give you some really great examples. The one that you're seeing on the screen is mine. We had a member share hers, which is really a cool tiered approach. And then we also include a plan to go fee example. So you can use these, you can create your own, you can take pieces and parts and customize it for your agency. The bottom line is that we want to give you a framework for charging fees in your agency and give you a starting point in case you don't know where to begin. We don't necessarily tell you what to charge, and I have really, really strong feelings about um, uh, asking people, like, what do you charge? Because my value is different than the agent's value down the street. My expertise, my type of clients, my type of trips are very different than the agent in the next town or the one that they can just find online. So start with something that you're comfortable with so that you can get your feet wet and really start learning the industry. But really look inside and figure out where you shine, what you really offer and bring to the table, and charge it and be confident. Okay, before I move on, Angela has a question. How do you reply to a customer who says they've talked to another agent who charges no fees, though I am sure they are adding something on the back end? I'm always matter of fact. This is what I bring to the table. This is my experience. This is how I work. um, and then give them a choice. So you'll see also, Angela, that a lot of this can be addressed with some of the tools that we're going to offer you, and it may actually eliminate a lot of these questions. I'll tell you that we have some huge agencies that are customers of TIS, and they've been in the business for 30 years, and they use a lot of the customer facing client onboarding documents that we have. I wish I had one to show in this presentation, but now they have all of their agents use it, and it's really shut down a lot of those questions. I'll explain it to you briefly. In the client onboarding premium content, which was released back in March, we actually provided you with an entire framework for onboarding your client from that first initial qualification call, not your discovery call, not the fit call where you're like, are they right for me? Am I right for them? This is more of the planning and research call. We give you some customer facing templates that shows how you work. It's really more of a timeline. Step one, we're going to pay my fee. Step two, we'll have the discover or the planning and research call. Step three, you're going to get the itinerary. Step four, and it's really cool because it's an awesome visual and they can really glance. It's not real word heavy. But I included that early on with my follow up communication to my prospects after I would have that fit call. The interesting thing is later on in the release of our what I call premium member content or training, we did a whole segment on discovery calls. We gave you all the questions to ask. What are the scripts you need to send? How are you going to follow up? And how does that segue into the client onboarding and then the proposal phase? So the two of those really marry together well, and it'll help you to address some of those issues. And yes, actually, in the discovery call and proposal training, there are scripts that talk about how to address requotes. I give you some language as well for the email communication that talks about it's like bullet points of important information. This, I don't remember the exact language, but it's like this proposal is good for X number of days. After that, you'll incur a new planning fee. So everything is succinct and to the point, but you have all of that inside of these additional modules and scripts, etc. Okay, travel insurance waiver. This one was like a real sticking point with me. So I sell a lot of like private jet travel and Regent Seven Seas cruises now. And so um, I was getting into these older clients who had specific pre existing conditions and all sorts of stuff. And I was pulling out my hair in the beginning when I first started moving into that segment because I really started with like $900 cruises or um, two or $3,000 all inclusives or whatever. I was booking whatever I could in the beginning. But I needed a way to convey to my customers that I'm not an insurance agent and it is their responsibility to understand the coverages because I was spending a significant amount of time really trying to learn the ins and outs of these different policies through my provider. So when we brought forth the travel insurance waiver and I spoke to the legal team about it, I said, we need to have more than a yes or a no. There needs to be a level of understanding from our clients as it relates to our role. So in our travel insurance waiver, it is much more enhanced than what you would find with Travel Guard or Allianz or Travel Insured. I'm always trying to think about how we operate in our business. What are the questions that were asked? I actually spent, which is kind of crazy. I know it's a little bit OCD, but I spent 2 years documenting questions that travel agents would ask in groups, questions that my clients would ask. What were the trends? What were causing clients to come back to me and ask additional questions after they booked with me? Or what questions did my assistant have? So how could I better prepare my assistant? So a lot of the thought in the product addresses some of these everyday challenges that we have as travel advisors. Okay, so website policies. If you are collecting information about your visitors on your website, your clients and visitors have a right to know how their information is going to be disclosed, if at all. In California, because California always has their own crazy rules and regulations. But I'm not sure if you're aware of this. If you don't have the California privacy policy addressed, the first fine is $2,500. So make a decision. How important is it for you to roll the dice? Is it likely that you're going to have somebody from the state of California troll you or somebody report to you? It's probably unlikely, but do you really want to chance it? So have privacy policies in place. Also, a terms of use. This is not the same as your terms and conditions. This is a terms of use for your website, and you don't want to have somebody bring a suit against you who lives clear across the country. So you need to obviously have some legal language as to where legal disputes, where your jurisdiction is. Our website policies are being updated right now. We In this latest update, I suggested that we add some language about affiliate links. I know there are a lot of travel advisors now looking at affiliate programs as they become more popular. And what I mean by that is maybe you have an Amazon affiliate program and you're selling travel goods, whatever it is. Um, we are going to address affiliate. We already do address remedy for copyright infringement. A lot of advisors don't realize that they could be infringing on copyright law by placing certain images there or text or whatever it is. So we've given you some paragraphs to remedy that. But the website policies are being updated now, and they should be out within the next couple of weeks. So, Pamela, yes, if you live in Oregon, you should still have the California privacy policy because you can't control whether or not visitors from California come to your site. So, I know California has the craziest rules. The other thing, too, is we will enhance our global privacy policy language in this next iteration. So, listen, don't go without policies. Um, Everybody asks, like, what does it look like when, I sign up for you guys? So you'll choose the product that you want. You'll pay. You'll create your account, and then all of the products and resources and services can be accessed through your account dashboard. And this is what it looks like. So on the left-hand side, you have your main dashboard. Then you're going to have all of your downloads, which are your contracts and tools, your courses, your touch points, your guidance, the instruction for the one-click integration that we have with Travify. In case you didn't know, we launched that a few weeks ago. There's a one-click integration. This is our phase one, and our phase two integration will be completely automated. And then, of course, our integration with Trace Technologies, which is the next gen of client base and trams, but it's cloud based. That'll also be seamless. So everything is front and center. You can click through and find everything that you need. If you are an agency owner who has that platinum or higher product, this is where you're going to add and manage your team as well. So you'll see if you have that product managed team will show up. You will add your team members. You can remove them as well. Your team members will have access to everything that is included with the Platinum membership, but they won't have access to the downloads. You will control that, remove anything that you don't want them to have, and then forward that on. When we move forward with building a totally custom site, we'll look at access controls for team members that you will be able to control. So you might say, I want my team to have access to contracts. I want them to have access to this. I don't want them to have access to this. So that is on our roadmap. But that's how it works now. Okay, I talked a little bit earlier about our email scripts. So we provide you with those protective covenants. Ensure your clients don't overlook those important details. Super critical for you, and also nice to have that tracking if you have a system, a CRM that actually brings in the email communication. You can also avoid potential losses through your effective communication. And this does not just refer to the legal part. Losses also refer to your time spent. So I always say to everybody, I don't really care what your revenue is. What is your profit? If you do not understand your profit, and if you are having time loss, if you are making mistakes that causes you to lose money. All of that can be avoided through effective communication with your customers, checklists, tools. So it'll allow you to never miss a step in your process and avoid that and increase your profits. So here's an example of our scripts. They're more than just scripts. As a matter of fact, I've had some people email me in the past and say, I've purchased these scripts because I saw them online and they were garbage. And before I even buy your product, I want you to walk me through what is included in our product. So I've started showing our scripts. So what you're seeing on the screen is part of our booking script. So we have booking, prospecting, follow up, proposal. I think there's about 75 scripts now. The booking are broken down into cruise mass market, cruise luxury, and land. What you're seeing on the screen now is the welcome email. It's what I call the welcome email after the client has deposited their booking. You're going to send them their confirmation. You're going to tell them this is what happens next. You can log into your portal. This is when you're going to make dining reservations. This is when you're going to do this. If you want to buy shore excursions from a small tour provider, here's a link. So now you're upselling and you're making more money. You're going to remind them about travel insurance and also other specific legal CYA language. So this is actually what you're seeing is an 8-point type, and I had to do that in our long script user guide because it's 1.5 pages. So, but it's extremely thorough, and I don't have back and forth with my customers because they know between my customer facing client onboarding document and my welcome email, they know what is going to happen throughout the entire journey with me and my agency. We give you subject lines and timing too. So it's literally like cut and paste, put it into your CRM and automate it. So I always like to share this because it's really interesting and fascinating for a lot of travel advisors to hear this. We've surveyed hundreds of travel advisors on these 3 areas. We ask them to rate themselves from 100 to 100% effectiveness. And interestingly enough, people tend to choose attracting and retaining ideal clients as their number one struggle, and then effective processes and protections as number 2, and building your authority and brand as number 3. On the next screen, I'm going to show you what the average score is of the agents we've surveyed. But I always like to touch on this because I feel like it's really important. These are the 3 culprits that keep travel advisors from achieving the level of success that they want in their agency. You can always boil it down to these 3. And the reality is that I find a lot of travel advisors focus on one particular area and they forget that these 3 are connected. You can't attract ideal clients if you don't have a strong brand and authority. You can't retain clients and garner referrals if you don't have effective processes. The 3 go together. And in a workshop that I did in California a few weeks ago for the Nexion travel agents at their national conference, I actually facilitated something that allowed them to choose one of these areas to work on. And we wrote out a roadmap and drilled it down to one thing that they could do to create a domino effect in their business. But at the same time, I said, okay, now that you've listed these things in this area, Now create commonalities. Which one of these fall into multiple areas? Maybe that will help you to determine your one thing that you're going to do today. So as you move forward in your business, remember these three things work together. And the effectiveness score was 38%. And these are, we surveyed agents of all experience levels, uh, some brand new in the industry, 30 years in the industry, solo agents, and agency owners. So I always find that to be really interesting. And I like to talk through what I feel is really important for all travel advisors and business owners to think about. It's always a good reminder to have because, look, I need to be reminded of things all the time as well. Okay, so we also have a full suite of solutions. We've talked about contracts and waivers, our scripts and tools, the training and guidance, which is what I call our premium member content. There is some free guidance on our site as well, and also partnerships. I really do, I really like to talk about this. I'm really passionate about not only my partnerships, but the position that I take in the industry. So first, I want to share with you, I'm not a one-man band. I did start out doing a lot of the work on my own. I had two initial investors in TIS. But believe it or not, we actually have multiple marketing people. We just hired our first salesperson to go after enterprise deals. We have another support person on staff, and we are continually investing in how our tech works for you, how our product works. So I also do not make decisions in a vacuum, and we source the best of the best. So here's my deal. When I bring new product or solutions to TIS, I don't make that decision by myself. I garner feedback from our customers, from industry leaders, um, we discuss it internally. We prioritize based on need, and I also tap experts to develop product where I just simply don't have the knowledge or experience. I also bring on partners and recommend resources and solutions to you because I believe in it and I've used it not because I'm making money off of it. So I think that's really, really important. My goal here is to give you the best of the best, whether I deliver it to you or I connect you with somebody who fills a particular hole or gap or need in your agency. So I always like to explain that because um, our industry is known for having a lot of affiliate relationships, simply because it's a great way to have passive income, not necessarily because they believe in the product or they've used it, they've seen results from it. So I like to share that with you, and I appreciate you listening to me ramble on and on. But I really am passionate and feel strongly about that. Here's an example of some of our solutions. Okay, so top left, bottom right, our premium member content. Every month we release something new. It is not sequential. We're not like what Cindy Williams does in Careers on Vacation. She has the program, we're going to start here and 12 weeks later, you're going to end there. We develop content based on mixing it up for experience levels, whatever the need is right now. What is the seasonality in the industry? So, what are the recent pain points? So, we cover a lot of different topics. We release it on the first of the month. It's in like a magazine format, and then typically you'll have like extra checklists or tools or whatever that'll go along with it. And then about 10 to 15 days later, we have a live Q&A, and it's recorded, and I place it on our in the lesson. Unfortunately, this month, Stephanie Cannon did one on how to manage your business finances. She's a CPA and agent, and we hired her to come in and develop that training. And the Q&A wasn't recorded, so we're having a second one this month. It's actually at the end of the month, and I'm really sad it wasn't recorded because there were so many good questions in during the call. Next month, by the way, is how to create cruise groups. And Michael Graham from MGA Travel has been doing up to 500-person cruise groups for more than 20 years. And he is sharing all of his really extensive secrets. And he's going to talk to you about like manpower considerations, all the pros and cons, the financial impact to your agency beyond just, what are the tools you need to promote and then to plan and have passenger data verification, and what's the follow up, and how are you going to have your suppliers supplement your marketing dollars, etc. So those are what the training courses look like. Top are some of the checklists. Everything's editable. I gave you some legal disclaimers. And then the bottom is an example of the social media post packs through Tima. So in the Platinum Plus product, we do not develop marketing assets. We have negotiated a killer rate for our members, and you can get social media post packs and pre-made newsletter content. I make zero money off of it. You have a huge savings. You can also subscribe direct to Tima. It's Tima link. However, it's significantly higher in price. Here's an example of our checklists. As I've mentioned to you before, time is money. I know during COVID, we had all of our ducks in a row, and we used this prior to COVID. So I don't know how many of you have done this in the beginning when you were, let's just use a cruise, for example. Your client would say yes, you call the cruise line to make the deposit because maybe you don't know how to use the system or that cruise line required it. And they would start going through all those questions like beds together or apart, what dining time do they want? All these little things. And you'd go, crap, I totally forgot to ask that. It's only like the 100th cruise that I've booked, but I forgot to ask it. So you'd have to hang up, call your client, email them, whatever, wait for them to get back to you, and then you'd have to call the cruise line. I can tell you, we don't forget anything anymore because we always have our checklists up on the screen. Well, my assistant actually handles all the bookings now, but I make it a rule. You have this up, make sure that you've done everything, record it, put it into CRM, whatever you need to do, but time is money. And if you forget to do something, I'm not going to pay you to go back and correct it because you have all the tools you need to not miss a step. Here are examples of the customer guides. These are all Canva templates. So you can edit them, you can add your logo, change the colors, whatever you want. One of the things that I do, since I no longer have ICs, I use TravelJoy, but I have all my email scripts set up in TravelJoy, and I attach the appropriate guide to the script template so that when I pull over whatever task list I want into that trip record and those emails fire off, my client also gets the appropriate guide, whether it's the tipping guide, the land guide, whatever. We're going to add some more guides in the future. However, I find that there's lots of guides out there. So people really need more help with what are my processes to follow through with proposals, like Angela had mentioned earlier. But we have some baseline guides for you to include, and my customers love getting them. I talked about the ready-made marketing guidance. We'll add some more guidance later this year and into the following year. Um, Whether it's some of the 5 mistakes that you're making and explaining why they're mistakes and how you can remedy them, to continuing to deliver that practical training. One of my biggest pet peeves is sitting on a webinar with a panel of people who tell you what you should or you could do. They don't tell you how to do it. And I hate that. So when you get our content each month, I'm actually going to tell you how to do it. Here's an example. Here's a framework. Now customize it to your policy or your personality or your internal policies. So I give you a lot of that how to. So my challenges, processes, and procedures. My market is meetings and groups. So the nice thing with the group cruise group stuff, and I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name, so I'm not going to botch it. Um, but a lot of the additional like optional tools that you can get with the cruise group stuff also applies to land, because Michael's team does land groups as well pretty extensively. um, Meetings and incentives, it's my cousin actually worked for Amex and then TNT. So she did 3, 4, 5,000 person incentive groups for like Allstate and T-Mobile, and she's now retired. But I asked her if she would develop a lot of a program for the mice people out there, the mice agents. So that may be coming. I don't know how soon. I'm hoping toward the latter part of next year. But processes and procedures for groups can be daunting. So a lot of the group stuff will be applicable to you as well. Okay, YTIS. I love going through this because I feel really confident in the way that we've built the program for you guys. You definitely save on costs. You get way more for less. I mean, I can tell you our gold package has about a $30,000 value between legal product, the warranty that we pay heavily for to protect you, the development of the product itself, copywriters, professionals to bring you these solutions. It's $400. So it's really kind of a no-brainer. So I do believe that we are economically superior. Actually, I know that. Technically superior. We are immediately available for download. It's quick and easy to set up. We do have our one-click integration with Travefy, and our next is Trace Technologies. And before you guys ask me about VCRM and TravelJoy, I will tell you we've had multiple conversations with Vacation CRM, and they are very interested. They need to build one more piece of tech for us to work properly with them. Now you can manually include our product, but from a technical integration piece, from an automated integration piece, that's what we're talking about. And TravelJoy. For TravelJoy users on this call, I tell everybody on every single demo to email TravelJoy and ask them, when are you going to integrate with Travel Industry Solutions? I know the CEO has stalked me on LinkedIn. I know we've had host agency owners and presidents email them on our behalf. We've had our customers email them. Maybe if they get enough, they will eventually respond to us, because we will spend the money to build the tech on our side to integrate with them. We are also legally superior. There is not an attorney on this planet who actually warranties their work. Um, we also write everything in plain English. No more of this legalese. So many people equate value with how many legally type terms are in their agreements. I can tell you the gentleman who heads up our legal team has over 30 years experience in both private practice and in-house for global Fortune 500 travel industry companies, multinational companies. And I hired him about 7 months ago to take over the management of our legal sourcing and that side of our operations. And he is absolutely brilliant, and people are loving what he is leading on our behalf, on your behalf. So we're also process driven. We do have a lot of advisors who come to us and say, "Hey, Sheila, I need this. Is this something that you can put on your roadmap?" And 99 out of 100 times, we're going to say yes. And I let them know when we might be able to develop that. So we're addressing right now a huge need for a lot of the students and graduates of Cindy Williams' Careers on Vacation program because many of them book Disney. So all you have to do is just reach out to us and say, "I have this challenge. This is the problem I'm trying to solve. How can you help me solve it?" Because you don't already have it in your suite of solutions. We are authoritatively superior. So there are a lot of products that have come on the market over the last year. The having social media allows people to just start up something and put the product out there. I personally have used this product to build my own agency to $8 million in 2 years with two people, myself and my mother, who I pulled out of retirement and who is back in retirement. So we rigorously test a lot of our products. Listen, I can't control your personality or your own common sense or acumen, but what I can do is give you tools to help you have a leg up in your business so that now you can focus on your money making activities and educating yourself in areas that will benefit you. And the last thing is, and I mentioned this earlier, is I use experts to develop product. I believe it's really important for us to balance experts at versus travel agents who had a sudden um, win with one marketing program that they had done for their agency. So, I like to have the balance. We grow with you. So you can upgrade at any time, but we do grow with you. So contractor agreements, group leader agreements, influencer agreements, 1099 contractor, that relates to your virtual assistant or other contractor, your sub-agent agreement, your internal email policy document. Agency owners can add additional user seats. Anytime you add a new IC, if you have a model where you are providing a certain set of tools for your agents. Before I move on to the additional 2 points, I just wanted to let you know that if you are an agency who has more than 50 or 75 agents, or even has 30 right now, reach out to me directly because we can work with you in different ways. I just had a call with a 70-person agency yesterday to talk about how she wanted to structure the inclusion of our materials or the promotion of them to her ICs. And also, as an agency owner, or some of you who are thinking about growing your agency, this is a great ready-made roadmap for your ICs. Running an agency takes an extreme amount of time and effort. And a lot of times we start growing our agency because we've reached a point that we're so busy and we need help. So we sometimes fall short on giving them the guidance that they need. And here are the membership levels. And you can find these also on our website. And here is our web address. Now, I'm going to throw up a couple of those offers that I spoke to you about when you signed up. So grab these quickly. So here is our free copyright guide and testimonial waiver. The testimonial waiver is a template. It is not warranted, but it gives you a framework for creating or getting testimonials signed off on by your clients. So go ahead and download that now. And then also, I'll give you a promo code. This is not combinable with any offers that you may have through our host agency partnerships. So you can go onto our website and see some of the partnerships that we have. We have pre-negotiated partnerships that have special discounts. If you're like with Nexion or Careers on Vacation, you'll see the list there. We just added the ASTA logo to our site. We have not broadly announced our ASTA partnership yet. However, everything has been finalized with them. All of the launch program is with them for review, our announcements, the responsibilities, and then all of the offers that will be extended to ASTA members. So just stay tuned on that. Listen, this has been like 6 months of discussion and legal vetting with ASTA. So I imagine it may take a couple more weeks for them to approve all of the assets that I sent over to them. If you purchase within the next 48 hours, you can save $50. So use promo code 1018 demo and you'll save $50. But again, if you are with one of our partners, look in their supplier portal like Gift and Travel Network, Nexion, Careers on Vacation. There are a few others. So check that out. And if we are not preferred with your host agency or your consortia, reach out to them and ask them why they aren't preferred with us. Okay, I'm going to take this down. I'm going to go back to the chat and see if anybody has any additional questions. So Angela, that's awesome that you're an ASTA member. If you want to email hello@travelindustrysolutions.com, I will keep you updated as to when this is going to roll out. We're going to have something special for our launch, which will be limited time. And then there will be a constant or a continuous offer inside the Member Advantage program. So shoot me an email. If you have any questions that I did not cover today, please email hello@travelindustrysolutions.com. So myself and Sandy monitor that email address. And if it's specifically for me and you put Sheila in there, Sandy will leave it in the inbox until I can grab it. Just know that I'm on calls a lot during the day. And I do try to schedule a lot of focus time for myself. Otherwise, my day gets away from me. So, but I will get back to you guys during business hours. So thanks again for everybody being here today. This will go out as a replay to your email address, and have a fantastic week. If you guys are not aware of this, at 1 o'clock Eastern time, I will be live in the Travify official Facebook group with Stephanie, showing you guys how our agreements are pulled into their form builder. And then Stephanie is going to show you how to add our terms and conditions to their website templates. So feel free to go over into the Travify official Facebook group and join us live there. Okay, guys, have a great day.